From her book that just came out yesterday, Amy Duggar King opens with 19 Kids and Counting, first aired on TLC on September 29th, 2008, following the daily life of my uncle Jim Bob Duggar and my Aunt Michelle. Along with their large growing family, the Duggars became massively popular for their unconventional lifestyle that emphasized extremely conservative Christian values, homeschooling, and the challenges and rewards of raising a large family. And our main character today wasn't originally part of the show, tried to kind of avoid it, and then suddenly, when she came to pick up her grandmother for on a random Tuesday, became a main character pulled into the scene that we later know as Crazy Cousin Amy. And today on Flipping Tables, I'm going to be talking all about the Duggars, conservative family values, as well as the role of women in extremist fundamentalist groups today on Flipping Tables with Amy Duggar King. Amy, thank you for being here today.
I am so excited to be here.
I am so excited. We've been planning this for a while, and I'm really glad that it worked out because just the story, when I first got the email about your book I was like, you're kidding. You're kidding. She was there. Yes. She was like, what? And again, just so appreciative. We're doing this in person. So if you are watching this on video, we're actually live and in person, which we haven't done for a while now. Tell me how you are like right now in this moment. Like the book came out yesterday. Yeah. It's coming out because we're recording a few weeks ahead.
Yes.
So the book's getting ready to come out in a month.
Yeah.
And you've been working on this. You wrote this in 7 months.
Yes.
You're doing all the promotional. How are you feeling like digging through the story, reliving it, as well as getting ready to put it out there?
I'm a jittery mess. If I'm going to be really honest with you. It's really good to proclaim all the truth that is coming out for the whole, whoever reads it. I'm trying not to hype it up in my head. It's just something that like has to get out because it could help so many people. And that's really my focus. But I am so excited to talk to you. I'm sitting here with you and you look like a moody mermaid.
Oh, thank you.
You've got such a vibe about you, girl. And I love it. I am here for it. And so, yeah, just to share my story really means the world. So thank you really for inviting me.
And what was the turning point? Like, what was the moment where you were like, I have to tell this story, like the whole story? Because obviously the Duggars were, the 19 Kids and Counting is incredibly famous. And then the Ashley Madison scandal, obviously this is such a huge thing. But what was the moment for you where you as an insider have to tell this story?
It's a really good question. I believe that it was when I went to confront Josh. I wasn't getting any answers from my family at all. I kept asking what's going on. There's chatter about, sexual abuse with the sisters. And there was all this stuff, like little noises that I was hearing and little things, people gossiping. And so I was like, what is the truth? What is the truth? What is the truth? And I go in my car, I start the engine, and I'm like, the hell I'm going to find out. The hell I won't find out. And I go down that driveway, and I knew that was the moment where things are going to shift. Things are going to change.
It's kind of whatever happens,
I'm going forward, and I'm going for a mission. Like I am on a mission to find the truth. And I've always been a truth seeker. And so truth has always been very hard to find in my family.
I relate to that.
And so for me, I was like, here it goes. Like it's a turning point. Yeah.
And it's interesting how in the quotation marks holiest conservative families, it sure seems like secrets overwhelm the truth more often than not. And I just want to dive into your story because this is so amazing. And so what I'm going to do, and one of the things I was talking to you about before we started recording was in the beginning, and you mentioned the Institute and Basic Life Principles, and you actually write them out. And for those of you that have listened to Flipping Tables, I have mentioned this with Bill Gothard and the Umbrella of Authority. I've mentioned it with James Dobson and also just conservative Christian fundamentalism. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to read these taglines. And I would love for just a little bit of your feedback, how you saw it in your life before we really dive into the nitty gritty of the show and TLC and scandals and stuff.
Let's go.
So the first one is the wife must submit to the husband and refrain from challenging him.
That happened all the time. I mean, there was no, you don't ever talk back. They have the main voice. They have the main. They have the only answer, and there is no. You can't ask questions, and you can't challenge it.
It's essentially like having an earthly God, like tangible God. If you question your husband, it's questioning God.
Yes, yeah. It shows that you're you have a rebellious heart.
Strong-willed child. Women may not pursue independence or self-reliance.
Yes, yeah. I mean, everything that I'm written in this book, it's like a book of truth.
Yeah.
And so, yes, they have a already ordained plan for your life if you are a woman, and it is to be childbearing and to be meek and mild and be quiet. And if you have any other dreams, well, sorry,
you were born with a vagina.
You were born. You were
bad.
born, and you're gonna have lots of kids. And yeah,
did you feel that pressure as much in your family? Because this is your aunt and uncle, that you saw kind of passed on to your cousins. Did you have the same kind of rules, the same idea of like, don't worry about career, don't worry about school?
I didn't. I could really pretty much do whatever I would like. I had a lot of free reign. But at the same time, they did have their impact on me.
Of course.
Because I was in it.
And you're on the show.
I was in it. Now, I'm not going to say like I was a part of the IBLP and I'm going to ride that coattail because I was not there.
Thank God.
Okay, thank God. I went to a couple of different, things that they have, like conferences and that kind of thing. But as far as like really in it and studying the booklets and all of that, no, heck no, I didn't do any of that. But I will tell you that it really did have an impact on me because I wanted to be a good person and I thought I was, but I wasn't as good as a person as I thought I could be in their eyes. And so I was looking for that like gratification, if you will, just any kind of like reassurance that I was a good person.
Well, and this feeling that of like, because we mentioned this before recording too, like this feeling of I'm never enough, because there's so many rules for women.
So many.
Basically none for men.
So, no, they're not held accountable for anything. And that's what really just drives it in. Because if you're not a good person, if you don't have a good heart, if you are not you have genuine soul, you can make rules to do anything you want without any repercussions.
Yep. As long as you're a man.
Yeah.
And out of these rules, so when you were like compiling these rules so that people who like you who didn't actually grow up under these, because I grew up under these. I did.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I did not know
my
that.
dad's rules kind of pivoted when he realized that I was like smart. And then he was like, oh, okay, well, since I now have like a paper proof that you're really smart, instead we're going to put you in law school so that you can be a Supreme Court justice and overturn Roe v. Wade.
You are such a badass.
He wanted me to be Amy Coney Barrett, is essentially.
Okay.
But prior to that moment, when he realized I was smart, it was because I was a chunkier kid. He was like, well, you need to lose weight for your future husband. I'm 10 at this point.
Oh, gosh.
He started making me, I had to wear makeup at 12, shave my legs at 12, do my hair at 12. And like everything was about future husband. And then when I got IQ tested because I skipped a grade and my teachers were like, what is going on with this girl? And that my dad's whole path
turned.
Well, because they have to have women in strategic places of power to keep all the other women in line. That's why you have your Christy Nones,
you cannot have
your
an
Caroline
uprising.
Levitts.
You cannot have an uprising. You cannot think for yourself.
Yeah.
You are considered rebellious. Something is wrong with your heart.
Sinful, of course.
Yeah. Oh, you're a walking sin.
Yeah.
We're both walking sins.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hey-o.
I just led a Bible study last night on the creation of biblical womanhood. And I talked about
be there.
How so much of that changed really in the Protestant Reformation, this gendered theology of the highest calling for women instead of being celibate and serving God was getting married and having kids. And Martin Luther said, quote, women's only purposes are to be a wife or a prostitute. She's good for nothing else.
That pisses me off so much. It's so sad. It's so wrong and so
the
twisted.
witch trials went after the wrong people.
They really did. They really, really did. Yeah. And it's really sad that now as we continue to grow and learn more and educate ourselves, there's still families and women stuck in these terrible situations that they can't think for themselves.
Yep.
And they literally probably feel like they're worth nothing.
They do. They feel like they're worth nothing. They feel like if they have a moment of completely reasonable doubt, of completely reasonable fear or longing of, I wish I could have gone to school for dance or whatever that dream was, they're immediately overwhelmed with shame because this isn't what you're supposed to do. And if you're unhappy or depressed in your marriage, it's because of your sin, not because you're not meant to just live in the house taking care of kids all day with no one to talk to and a neglectful husband. Oh no, that can't be it.
No, of course not.
Of course
no,
not.
of course not.
Can't have that.
Yeah.
So as we go in, so the show starts in 2008.
Yes.
I want you to, I'm just going to let you, I have my notes of like which stories I want to make sure we cover, but give us the story of how you got pulled onto the show because you weren't originally part of the cast.
Oh my gosh, no. And I never really wanted to be at all. That was their thing. And I was like, hey, like they got their own thing going on. So like, I respect that, but
Good for
like,
you.
I'm going to stay over here. I literally was just picking up my grandma or picking her up from the house. And, she wouldn't come to the car. She refused. And I think she's very smart, very strategic woman, and was just like, no, you come in. No, you come in. And I was like, oh, fine. So I was like, we're going to stay out here all day waiting for you to come in, or I'm just going to just do it. So I walk in and immediately I am greeted with everybody in the living room, and all the kids are sitting there like so poised and their hands in their laps, silent, just beautiful, adoring, obedient kids. And I'm like tiptoeing around the room, as quiet as I can. And Jim Bob is, my uncle is saying, who wants to be the chaperone for Josh and Anna? And how do you not laugh? Okay. These people are adults. They are adults.
How old was Josh at this point?
He was
I don't remember.
What, like 19, 20?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Adult.
He was adult. He was an adult. And I'm like, how do you not do that? Right. And
I would have too.
And so the producer noticed that, because that's something they don't ever do. And he comes up to me and he's like, who are you? And I was like, I am so sorry to interrupt your shot. I am just trying to get to Grandma's room, which happened to be on the other side of the living room. So I had to go across this huge room, right? And he was like, well, why don't you want to be the chaperone for Josh and Anna? And I was like, because I will let them do whatever they would like to do. They don't need a babysitter, And I just said, no offense to their beliefs, but that's not how I roll, basically. And he was like, you need to jump on camera. And I was just like, and I had a really hard time saying no to people. I didn't say no easily. And it was something that was ingrained in me as well.
Mm-hmm.
Always be obedient. Don't rock the boat. Don't do anything. And so I was like, okay. And so, yeah, boom, there I am. And it just is crazy to me that now looking back, so much has gone on. And I'm just like, what is life? What is my life?
Well, and when you were so just for the contrast, because we know your cousins are super strict in this conservative environment. There's very strict gender roles.
Yes.
What was your family like in contrast to that? Because clearly they're not as strict, but what was their faith? What did they teach you about who you should be?
It was the Christian faith. My dad was a very hard worker. So he wanted to make sure that I worked very hard in life, and instilled that. There were some good qualities there.
Mm-hmm.
I will just say that. But he wasn't overly biblically inclined and he wasn't dominant like that. My mom was the sweetest pie. I mean, she's so kind. And it was just really different. I grew up with bathing suits and listening to the radio and concerts and kissed a boy. I think I was a late bloomer, so I was 17. Ooh. But I know. I had a birthday cake that said 16 and never been kissed. And it was the most embarrassing moment. But that's all right.
I was 16 when I got my first kiss.
But I will say, were you? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I will say
after junior, senior banquet, because we couldn't have prom because dancing is vertical sex.
Yes, it is. And so is the beat of any kind of music. You cannot listen to anything with an offbeat.
My dad was a drummer. Okay. So he bent some of those rules. But we could only listen to Christian music unless it was a classic rock band he liked.
That is so crazy. Why are these rules?
Yeah, why do these exist?
Why do they exist?
I could listen to Boston and Three Dog Night.
Well, that's amazing that you could.
Yeah. But anything any 80s hair metal, absolutely out. No 90s alternative. I didn't know who Tupac was until I went to college.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
And my roommate I was like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened. What do you mean?
I love it. Do you want to know my favorite 80s song? I'm ready. My lifestyle song, for my life.
So this is your anthem on your life album.
If I was playing baseball, this is what we'd be playing. Patti Smythe, Warrior. Do you know that song?
100%.
Okay.
It's amazing.
I'm obsessed with that song.
It's amazing.
There's a Patty Smythe website, and I think I'm the only one that ever bought a T-shirt for like $29.99. I have it at home, and I love it so much. I love that song.
I will say that like coming into pop culture in college, one of the cool, like some of it I felt so overwhelmed and I felt so stupid because people would make movie references or song references. I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Who is Nirvana? But getting to listen to those albums for the first time as an adult.
Oh, life-changing.
Amazing.
Right?
Amazing. Like listening to Alice in Chains' Dirt from top to bottom, like for the first time as discovering Rush, Ozzy Osbourne. I'm like, this is the greatest
Crazy Train
thing that has ever happened. And like, you know, and I love Black Sabbath, but being able as an adult to hear those has its own kind of benefit. There's just so much you miss out on. Oh, so here's a question comparing your families.
Hold on.
She's like, stop.
Hold on. We're both saying stop. Yes. I was going to say, we were on a crazy train in a whole other different way.
This is so true.
Yeah.
This is so true.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
So were you allowed to read or listen to or watch Harry Potter?
No.
You weren't? Okay,
no.
So your family still was with the Harry Potter thing.
They were still with the Harry Potter thing. I couldn't have a Cabbage Patch doll.
Oh my God, I
could not. I wasn't really into a lot of Disney, but I could Little Mermaid, I could pretend in the bathtub or, spin around. Like
I couldn't have a Barbie, but I could have
Barbies.
A Disney princess doll in the shape of a Barbie, but not Barbie herself. Why? Because Barbie had her own house and her own car. And wasn't married.
Heathen.
I
didn't know the Barbie was a heathen.
Barbie is a Satanist? No, just kidding.
What an evil girl.
So you had a little mix.
So I had
some of those rules.
I had a mix. But my dad was a huge heavy rocker, so I grew up in Bon Jovi and like all the classics. But Patty Smythe is by far my favorite.
And my dad, as I mentioned, my dad's a drummer. So anytime, then growing up, he played guitar and sang. I grew up singing with him in nursing homes was how I got into music.
Okay.
But every time my dad would see a drum kit, because he didn't play as an adult anymore, but he would play the best version of Wipeout you've ever heard. And he'd be like sweating by the time he was done. I was like, Dad, you were meant to be an artist. How did we get here?
Oh my gosh. What happened?
Poor man. What happened was he went to college in Arizona for 2 years and he had the opportunity to move to LA to be a session musician.
Wow.
And this would have been right around the time that the Wrecking Crew was working and Linda Ronstadt and the Eagles and everybody.
Yeah. Wasted time.
He mentions it to my grandfather who says, essentially music's not a career. Good sons come home and take care of the ranch. And my dad
dream
crashed,
gone,
right? Yeah. To be a righteous son. So it affected my dad too. And he lived his life in such a sad way because you could tell his whole life, all he wanted to do was sing and write books. And he never.
I hate that.
Yeah, never got to do it. So as you're kind of in this, so you're kind of the sinful cousin, right?
Apparently.
So they call you crazy cousin Amy. How did that originate?
I honestly have no idea. My personality was just different from all the kids, right?
Because you were allowed to have one.
Because I was allowed to show emotion. I was allowed, if something annoyed me, I was like, ugh. Like I was just a normal person. And that was sinful. That was not something that they like frowned very much upon that. And so I couldn't even say like, I hate tomatoes or like anything related to hate or I don't like or that's not cool. Anything like that was considered like a behavioral issue.
Yeah.
And so I just was on the show and as it aired, I see underneath my name or above my name, Crazy Cousin Amy. And I'm like, whoa.
Like, excuse
me. Like, wait a second here. Why am I crazy? Why is that being announced? And like, they didn't even ask me. It was just something that just like popped up and like went with it. I talked to my uncle and I was like, I don't like that this is being associated with my name. What can we do about this? And he was like, oh, Amy, it's meant to be fun. You are just a little light and you have just, you're always fun and you laugh and you're bubbly and don't worry about it. It's no big deal. And I was like, oh my gosh, like it's going to be so bad. It's going to be so bad because people can take crazy in so many different ways.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's also whenever it's used to women, it's inherently demeaning.
Yes.
Women are too emotional to be in the White House. Women are crazy. Women are this, women are that. And typically when they say women are crazy, it means she had a very rational, emotional response to an incident, but I don't like it.
Yeah.
Is what that means.
Yeah, it means you're rebuking whatever they were like trying to throw at you, and you have emotions about it and an opinion, and they don't like it. And so they're going to shut it down.
And they called you loud too.
And they're going to, I definitely was called loud. I was never told by my uncle that I wasn't enough. He never said that, but I was too loud and too much. Yep. And I needed a man to tame me down, and that he could find me one, you guys. And he could find me one.
Oh, that just brought me flashbacks. Oh my God, because I remember my dad, when I got older, he would say things like, it's going to take a hell of a man to tame you down.
Yeah. And
it was this whole thing that you're too much, you're too vocal, you're too vibrant.
Yeah.
And obviously he's not saying the words you're not enough.
Right.
But he's definitely comparing you to his daughters, his wife, and saying, you're not like them.
You're not like them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so
without saying it,
as you're existing in this space, how does that kind of conversation and also like purity culture like affect you and kind of seep into your mind? Did you notice how it affected you versus your cousins?
Yes, no, I did for sure. Every day I was very much aware of like the way I was speaking. As you know, in IVLP, the women are so soft right here, right up there. Just like that. And they don't change. They don't ever change. I remember one time,
all the time.
I came home and I asked my mom, I said, I know this is going to sound crazy, but like, do I speak like a man? Because I'm not princessy. Like I even noticed like some of the wives that were getting married that are joining our family were speaking in that way. And I was like, when did that happen? Hello? Like what is going on here? And it's just like, it was always around. I was always aware of like my makeup and my hair and the clothes I was wearing. I always had clothes in my car because if Jim Bob didn't like one thing I was wearing, I had several options because again, I wanted to people please. I wanted to
and you want to be accepted,
and I wanted to be accepted. You know, I want to be accepted just for me being in me. I wanted that to be enough.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it ever was, but I did. I just wanted to be myself. I just thought like, why is it never enough?
Yeah. Well, and also in these environments that the Overton window always shifts.
Yes.
Because it doesn't matter how good you are, in order for them to continue subjugation and continue this idea that only men can be an authority because men are perfect and wonderful and God loves them more, they have to make sure that they remind you why you have to submit, why you have to be less than. It's the whole...
I always had a heart issue. Yep. I was always called into the office because of my heart issues. And I was just like...
If I rolled my eyes any harder at that, I would lose them.
I'm not kidding. Yeah, but I couldn't do that. I couldn't roll my eyes.
Of course not, because then that's disrespect and you're rebelling.
And then it's like a whole other thing, a whole other level. And so I was just like, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I was just like, why am I in here?
It's so crazy.
Why am I in here?
I remember, especially we grew up under these rules to a degree because I was raised only by my dad. So him trying to wrangle 6 kids was an adventure for him. Mm-hmm. But we also had families that were on the range of we knew a group of families that the women could only wear floor-length dresses, long sleeves, couldn't wear jewelry, no makeup. But they all did that little, hi, oh my God. So that's why I hated the demure trend on TikTok.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, shut up.
I know. I didn't
do
loud.
It. Wear the jewelry. Max, I do not like the clean girl look. I don't like the demure thing. I think those are all, in my mind, conservative pipeline, trad wife shit. I'm like, no, if that's your natural style, great, wonderful, love it. If it's something that's a trend or being like, oh, this is better.
No. Yeah. You definitely be yourself.
I'm always going to have at least 2 colors in my hair. I'm going to wear the nails and the jewelry. And part of it,
the opposite. I've honestly never done my nails. I did them in prom.
Okay. Next time you come, we're going to go see my girl.
But they look really bad right now. But no, I'm more natural. So I would be in a ball cap with no makeup on and just hanging out in Arkansas.
And then they would be like, oh, you need to do more for your husband.
Oh, well, but also ball caps were considered boyish. So I couldn't wear them on camera because I was considered having a heart issue again because I was not being more feminine. And I needed to show that.
Okay, I need to know what some of these heart issues were. Give me some more examples of these quotation mark heart issues.
Distressed jeans were a heart issue.
How dare you show your kneecaps? You're going to make the men sin.
My car. Listen. the kids were not allowed to drive with me going anywhere because I had a radio in my car and a CD player in my car. Yet, and it wasn't even on. It wasn't even freaking on. But the fact that they had a radio in their car was completely fine. They had a radio, they have a CD player, and yet it was fine. But no one could ride in my car because they thought I was going to influence them.
With your sinful music.
Yes. I remember the first time that the kids were all going somewhere and I was meeting them there. And one of Joseph, I'll just say his name. He, which I've never really said their names because I'm trying to obviously watch legal. But he got in my car and I was like, like I gasped because he's never been in my car. And he was like, it'll be fine. And I'm like, are you sure? Like, and I was like looking around like, do I have anything out here that's going to like a dark lipstick.
That's so stressful.
Nail polish. Is my sunglasses a right color? Like all these things. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like it was just worry. And I remember being like, I'm so sorry if you see something. Like I was so worried for no flipping reason.
It's really stressful as a woman being in these environments because it's every little thing. It's what you wear. It's what you say. It's what you listen to. It's the color of your shoes. It's the color of your fingernails. It's what lipstick you're wearing. It's if you're wearing jewelry. And you have to like, and because they've tied it to your salvation, they've tied it to your worthiness.
Yes.
They tie it to your future of like having love.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
So you're so stressed all the time.
I just always wanted to be perfect. And it's a level of expectation that you can never get to. There is no level. It's like just a power over you and control to keep you underneath them.
Yep. And it's this whole thing of like Eve was the sinner. It's like, well, first of all, that was a myth based on a Babylonian myth. But also, I don't think that God created half the human race and said, you're just not as good. Go sit in the corner.
I think he has plans for all of us.
I think so. I was like, that.
We all have a plan. We all have a purpose.
Exactly.
Don't ever listen to that.
I don't think that a good God is going to create a group of people and then say, no, you stink. Sorry.
No, I don't think so.
That doesn't seem right.
That's not right.
And as you're diving into the show, are there some moments that really stand out to you where you're like, especially with your cousins, especially the younger cousins, where you're like, this doesn't feel right.
Yes.
What were some of those like big moments that stand out to you for them?
There was several of them that well, first off, it could only be surface level conversations. Mm-hmm. There was never any kind of like, hey, what are you struggling with? Hey, what are some things that you're worried about?
Are you okay?
Are you okay? I could never ask those questions. It was very, like I said, surface level, happy dappy, talk about weather, talk about a jean skirt, talk about whatever, how pretty the flowers are blooming. I don't know. It was very just like there was no, I don't even know. There was no weight. There was no weight to it.
You might find a skeleton if you start asking questions.
Imagine that. Exactly.
And so during this time, before everything happens with Josh, what was your relationship? Because this is your mom's brother.
Yes.
What was their relationship like?
Great.
Okay.
They were close growing up. My mom wasn't on the show hardly really ever. A couple of times, but it was never like a mere focus on her.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had a great relationship. They went to lunch, they talked, they hung out, and that kind of thing. And it was very like a family that was very healthy. And I honestly put them on a pedestal. I was like, wow, you have this many kids and it's so peaceful and calm and wonderful over here. And it really was my safe haven growing up that I spent so much time over there.
Mm-hmm. What was discipline like for 19 children?
They had encouragement. Have you heard of encouragement?
I think it's going to be similar to my dad's version of inspiration.
Oh, inspiration. I've never heard of that one. Okay, yeah. So there was rods. There was like plastic rods, like thick plastic that had a handle on them. And they were around everywhere. They were in the van. They were on top of the refrigerator. They were everywhere. And I never saw them use it, but I heard so many of the older kids talking to the younger ones and saying, if you don't obey, would you like some encouragement? And it was like,
Yeah, see, my dad his question was, how long has it been since you've been inspired? Was his question. And my dad used a big, thick wooden spoon that was like 1.5 feet long, huge spoon itself. And his other rule was that you couldn't cry or scream. And if you did, you get spanked longer.
I'm so sorry.
But my dad said it was inspired. I was wondering how they would phrase it, especially because you're on reality TV. You can't depict that.
They did not ever show anything like that on the network. But the network, let me just say, the network was great.
Yeah.
They were wonderful. They really were. I had loved the crew. I loved everything about it. And they were sidelined too. I mean, they really were. They had no idea.
And so when did things start to get shaky for you? When did you start to say things feel off? Things aren't right? What was kind of the breaking point in this system? So you're kind of halfway in, halfway out.
Yes.
When did things start to either feel off, or when did things start to shift that eventually kind of led to the breaking point later on?
So I found porn on a computer that my dad bought from Josh. And I had no idea, and so I found
How did that happen?
Lots of files. He just always had the newest tech, always. Okay. And so whenever he would get something new, he'd be like, who wants it, kind of thing. So my dad bought a computer, put it in like the kitchen, counter area. And I'm scrolling, learning the new MacBook, woo, big MacBook. And I just so happened to look down, and in the files part, it said Josh's files. So I'm like, oh, he forgot to delete something. That's what I was, whatever. Yeah. So I click on it. This is the moment that I have never seen Josh ever be show he was like the most charming, gelled, perfect son, perfect person. Okay. There were no flaws that I have ever seen. And I scroll, I see all this, and it's nothing but just naked.
And you're just like, wow, that's a lot.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I realized right then that there was a secret, and it's been hidden. And I tried my damnest to talk to my uncle about it. Tried my hardest. I truly did. And to
what
a lot
year
of
was
people,
this?
You know what? That's a good question. There's been a lot of stuff.
There's been a lot of stuff.
There's been a lot of stuff happen. I would say, it was in the beginning. Beginning. So,
early when the foundation starts to crack.
Yes, exactly. And then there was another time that I went to the pantry at their house, and I was looking for napkins or something. And I heard this little whimper. I heard this very soft, not kitten-like, but very soft. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And the lights were off. And so I turned the lights on, and I saw a jean skirt. And one of the older girls was having a total meltdown, panic attack. And I talk about that in my book too. I don't mention names because that doesn't matter. The names don't matter.
And it's not their fault.
It's not their fault, and I'm not going to do that to them. It's their story to tell. But I reached down, and I just wanted them to know that they were seen, and that they didn't have to cry alone in the dark. And this was also when a birthday party was happening, when there was so much joy on one side of the house happening, and all of these people and all this fun and all these things, confetti and cake and all this stuff. And then behind a door was a broken girl. And I knelt down, and I just held her. I just held her.
And if she cries in front of anybody, then she's going to be, it's rebellious. You're trying to take attention for yourself.
Right.
Yeah. And so when you find all this porn on Josh, so then what happens when you try to tell his dad or tell anybody about it?
I was completely dismissed from everyone.
It's that umbrella
Amy,
of authority.
There is no problem. I think you're mistaken.
I saw hundreds of naked people.
Yeah,
I did not make that up.
They did not want to hear it. They did not want to hear it. Told my mom. We called my uncle. He did not want to hear it. Not at all. Nothing. And I was just like, our hands are tied. What do we do? I mean, we can't do anything. And plus, porn's not a crime. I can't really report that.
It's just hypocrisy in this instance.
It's just, you can tell there's like more to the story than what they were selling.
Yeah.
At the time, in my opinion. Let's put that in there.
So is this the kind of the moment for you where you're like, wait, none of this, was this kind of the light bulb moment?
This was the light bulb moment where I realized not everything as perfect as it seems. And after I saw that sweet girl bawling her eyes out and shaking uncontrollably, I can't even tell you how bad it was. It was awful. Mascara running. I mean, the whole thing. Sorry, I'm hitting the mic. But I literally, I was just like, I looked around the room. I left. She went upstairs. I got her out there without people seeing her. And, I said, go upstairs, fix your makeup. It's okay. Like, I love you. I'm here for you. All that kind of stuff. And everyone was smiling, looking around. And I was just like, who else is hurting? Mm-hmm. Who else is hiding pain?
Because when you can't have these deep conversations in conjunction with the fact that when you have 19 children, you cannot give each of them the attention they need.
I truly don't believe that.
You can't.
You can't.
It's not possible.
No.
And because I mean, I'm number 5 of 6, and then later a younger half brother. And even with 6 kids.
Did you feel lonely at times?
100%.
Yeah.
Like, part of the reason I'm such a nerd and a book girl is because there wasn't time for me.
There wasn't time.
And because I wasn't a problem, I didn't get that attention. And also the combination of, my dad's theory of like, there's no use crying over spilt milk. So if you had feelings to talk about, feelings there's no
are
point
not
doing that.
Yeah. Well, feelings are ungodly in the IBLP.
Yes,
it is something that is like
don't trust your feelings.
You
don't trust your
have
mind.
them.
Yep.
You don't have
trust
them.
your intuition.
Don't trust your instincts.
All of those are your sinful nature because you are inherently born sinful and broken.
Right.
Yeah. And then when I got older, I got
heavy.
a lot more attention because my dad had this goal for me, but it was never about me, and it was never, I don't think my dad and I, until I was late teens, ever had a conversation about feeling something.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. And it sounds like for the Duggar kids, they never got to have those conversations except maybe whispered to each other when no one was around.
I don't know. I can't really speak for them, but what I saw is I believe that's correct.
Yeah.
It's just so sad.
It's so sad.
It's so sad.
And
because you're not supposed to be a robot.
Yeah.
We're not robots.
And then that progresses to affect you, when you get older and you get into relationships and you're trying to have your own family.
How do you communicate?
Yeah.
How do you communicate? Exactly.
You don't.
I had to learn. I did too. I had to learn. Yes, exactly. I did too. I grew up with a lot of fear, a lot of control. Just, I would never measure up. I felt like I would never measure up.
Well, and I felt, I really struggled with as an adult, even in dating relationships, speaking up when something's wrong, speaking up when I'm troubled by something, because it's so ingrained to you to never talk, never protest, never rock the boat. And it sets young women up particularly, but young men as well, for abuse.
Oh,
because you just take it.
You just take it, and you're silent about it, and you don't know how to talk about it. You don't know how to process it. You don't know how to work through your pain at all. So you just bury it.
Yeah, and you mix that in with, especially for women, this idea of, well, you're owned by your father until you're owned by your husband. Your virginity is your only value. All those things. You tie all that up in with this abusive relationship that you can't speak against. That's how women get stuck and get killed.
Did you know there's exactly. Do you know there's other workbooks that are in the IBLP that literally talk about let's say something's happened with your brother. Well, what did you do? What were you wearing to cause that?
Yep.
Did you have an eye trap? Was there eye traps? An eye trap is anything below the neckline. Yep. So your clavicle, your anything,
cleavage, anything.
It could be your shoulder.
Yep.
It could be your kneecap.
Because I remember when those pamphlets came out, we didn't have those in the house, but I remember when it came out because there was all this talk in the church, and I went to only Christian schools. The elementary school I went to was named after the Heritage Foundation. It was founded by my grandfather. But it was this whole thing, well, you can't show your shoulders. You can't show your ankles. Because if you do, you lead a man to stumble, and then it's your fault.
And then it's your fault.
What did you wear? Were you alone with him? Did you flirt with him?
Did you know the word abuse is not even something that they use? It's not even a word they can even.
It doesn't exist. It's not real.
They don't exist. It doesn't exist.
You just need to submit more, don't you know?
And it's also called that if something, let's see, one of the girls has been through some horrific things, they would just say, "Oh, that happened to me too," to one of the other girls. And it's just, they don't know what it's called. It's the saddest system, and it's closed. It's a closed, awful system, in my opinion.
It is.
Let's put that in there.
And like the thing is with fundamentalist circles, they're breeding grounds to protect
I put
predators.
that in my book.
Yeah. And like, because this system is built to protect abusers. And
100%.
again, the men are never at fault.
No.
And, you have like Christian marriage counseling through Paul Popenoe, James Dobson, all these people, where if the man cheats repeatedly, it's, oh, well, you just need to meet his needs better.
Yeah.
And if he's abusive, they don't use the word abuse.
It's a covenant marriage.
It's a covenant marriage. You can't leave
You can't protect it. You're not allowed to. Or Jesus won't love you enough. Like, and you're lower on
he'll curse your children. Did you ever hear that one?
I've heard that. I heard that they'll get sick.
Yep.
I heard that they'll come down with something awful. They'll have a horrible car wreck. It's always out of fear. They practice out of fear, out of everything.
Mm-hmm. And
it works.
It works.
It works like a charm. And it is so sad until there's a holy disruptor.
Until there's a holy disruptor. Now, good segue.
Unless there's a holy disruptor.
I want you to expound on that topic because the book is called Holy Disruptor. Yeah. I want to know where it came from, where it originated, and then we're going to really dive into when things really imploded.
Okay, I love it. So Holy Disruptor is a powerful title. And it's something that I went to lunch with one of my friends and mentor. She's incredible. And it was when I was just feeling completely depleted from this show. Okay. I was like, I am so misunderstood. I got people praying for my soul. I'm getting all these emails. It's awful. Like, media is tearing me down. I felt like lower than dirt. I truly felt lower than dirt. And I was like, I don't know who I am and why I'm a part of this family and why am I here? What is my purpose? This is crazy. Like, I hate this. And she was like, Amy, hold on. She was like, first off, you're strong. Don't ever let someone try to poke at you and tell you you're nothing because you are strong. She's like, second, you confront evil head on, and that makes you amazing. She was like, also, you're what I call a holy disruptor, and you're not afraid to go after and question toxic patterns and the things that have broken so many people. You're standing up like a warrior. That's why that song is so important to me.
And there it is. Circle moment.
Full circle. But yeah, that's the moment. And I was like, oh my gosh. And something clicked inside of me. And I was like, maybe I am a holy disruptor. Maybe I am yes, there's flaws. Everyone has flaws. But maybe I do have a purpose after all. And I just started to really taking that in. And I started writing things all over my house, little notes that were like, you are enough. You can do great things. All of these affirmations that I needed that I wasn't getting from no one. How
old were you at this point?
I was in my 20s.
Okay, so you're taking on this affirmation.
And then, I just was like, if I ever get a chance to maybe share my story in any kind of way, I want that to be the title. And
that's awesome.
It's crazy to think that it's here. It's a total God wink in my eyes. Yeah.
And I love how in that story, sometimes it just takes one person to shift your perspective. Mm-hmm. Because, same with you, growing up in the system. And I hit my wall around 23. Okay. Was where I really started to wrestle. I had always had a problem with how the church treated women. Mm-hmm. I can look back now and be like, oh, I've been a feminist my whole life.
Yeah, no, me too.
I just didn't know what the name was.
I didn't know. Yeah.
And I thought, oh, I'm being sinful. Oh, I'm defying God. I'm defying God's role for my life. And you put yourself down and you
absolutely
you start to just
you wrestle with it.
Yes, and they also
my gosh.
They get so good at breaking you down and destroying you that you start to do it to yourself. And so I was really good at that.
I was really good at that too.
So good. And I remember I went to Liberty, graduated from Liberty. And one of the years I was raising money to go on a missions trip, went to one of my favorite professors with this, told him about the trip. As I'm walking down the hallway to go back out of the building, I hear him yell, I believe in you.
Oh.
And I just stopped. And I went to college at 16. I think I was 18 at this point. I think I was 2 years in. And I just froze. Nobody had ever said that to me before.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I was like, that moment
powerful
is burned into my brain.
Yep.
And not that my self-esteem and my self-worth changed right then. It didn't. It took years and years and lots of therapy. But
shout out to the counselors that help.
Shout out to the therapist. Oh my God. My first
Right?
therapist was absolutely incredible. Like that woman saved my life. Like but it's this one moment that was like, oh, like I'm worthy of someone believing in me because I had become this achievement addict. You know, straight A's, got to be on the ensemble, got to be the best at everything, got to do this, got to be perfectly skinny, got to be like, because that was my way.
That was your way.
I was going to earn my worthiness.
Your way. You're going to earn it. Yeah.
And my first therapist, she was so great because I was really, purity culture for me was really
a big deal. That was
the heavy hitter.
The heavy. Yeah.
That was really
heavy.
hard to overcome. So when you're after,
it's amazing though.
It is. And I remember, I was sitting, so nutshell, because I want to go back to the Duggars. But
yes, yeah.
I was engaged in my early 20s and I was like, oh my God, I've done everything right. I'm the perfect little virgin and I've met my husband, blah, blah, blah. And I lost my virginity to him 2 months before we were supposed to get married.
Okay.
2 days later, I find out about all the other women. And I find out that he stole my identity and put $65,000 of debt in my name. Ended up being homeless for almost a year.
Holy shit.
Like it was this whole thing. I was living in Virginia at the time. I relocated to New York after this all happened, gave him the ring back, obviously broke everything off.
Yeah.
Like he had put the gym studio that we owned in my name. All of it was in my name. So I had to do everything to break it all down.
Oh my gosh.
And moved to New York with my clothes and had to file for bankruptcy at 23. So, but there was this whole thing where I'm like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. I let this guy play me and deceive me. And I was so in love with him. I was like so over the moon for him. And then like, oh my God, I'm worthless now. I'm a piece of chewed up gum because I've had sex with this person. And my dad screamed at me for it. And I remember going to my first therapist and this was like, I was in like a bad place. And our first couple sessions, I remember like, I am like dry heave sobbing to her about the shame and the guilt and I can't function and I can't look at myself and I'm like falling back into an eating disorder I had in high school. And I was just like, I'm the only person that sinned. I'm so disgusting. I'm gross. And she ends up like looking at me and she kind of freezes and she was this beautiful, vibrant Jamaican woman.
Oh, I love
and just beautiful hair, like just radiant.
Joy.
Just joy.
Yeah.
Like a pure ball
joy.
of joy. And she sits there and she opens up with me and she tells me, she's like, I'm going to tell you something that the only other person in the world that knows this is my husband. And she opens up with me and she tells me this devastating story about her when she was 19. That like I'm sitting there and it was the first time that I felt like someone told me it was okay to not be perfect and also that no one is. It was just this moment. That woman saved my life and she saved me from addiction later on. She ended up passing away a couple years after that. But was just
an angel sent
for
you. Yeah.
Angel. And just, I every time I'm feeling overwhelmed, I just remember Deborah smiling. I'm like, I can do this.
I can do this.
I can do this. But it's those specific people that show up. And sometimes it's one line, like you're a holy disruptor.
Right.
And sometimes it's a conversation where someone shares their most vulnerable thing with you and you realize, oh, this whole idea that I'm the only one that's not perfect, which is how they painted you.
Oh, yeah.
Is not true.
Yeah, I thought I was the only one in the world that felt like this. I really did. Like, because I was this lone girl on this show with millions of followers. And I felt like every single person that followed me, followed the show, read it. I mean, I don't even know. All hated me. Every single person hated me.
What would they say?
Oh gosh, I've heard everything from,
I'm sure you've been called a demon because that's one of their favorites.
Yes, that's a great one. I've also been called just a home wrecker, which was crazy. A long time ago, there was a rumor that I was like sleeping with this older man. It was insane. This random woman, I don't know anything about her. Anyway, I had to go on the Today Show. This is like when the first, couple of seasons were airing on 19 Kids and Counting. I had to go on the Today Show and like tell everyone like how it was a lie because so many people were contacting me and just like bashing me for no reason. I've had so many things. I'm fake. I'm a grifter. I ride the Duggar coattails. They think I changed my name from King, which is my husband's last name, to Duggar just to get famous.
Even though the producer pulled you onto the show?
Yeah.
Good grief.
I've heard I have fake lips. I I have no eyebrows, which I don't, but that's not my fault. But I have to color them in every day.
Yeah.
Which today they look pretty bad, but whatever.
God did this to me. No,
I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, I have fake lips, that I have a love child. One of the cousins is my love child.
Oh my
I
God.
have heard so much crap. It just like continues on over. And it's really sad.
Just because you're not like them.
Right. Yeah. They all just are like, oh, there she is stirring trouble again. She's just stirring trouble. And I'm like, I'm not editing
I'm
these
sorry,
episodes.
I laughed out loud.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
What?
Like it was really like strange, very strange. But it's really interesting how, I'm sure you know this, social media, they believe anything they hear. Anything.
Oh yeah,
It does not matter.
I love the rumors I hear about myself.
Oh yeah,
I'm quite a fan.
I need to like put on Reddit and just like read them out loud. I need to do that. I haven't done that yet, but
The lore is intense. I'm like, wow, I didn't know I did that.
A long time ago, I used to bawl my eyes out, be like, oh my gosh, no one loves me. Like having these moments, and now I'm like, all right, and let's do the list. Like
let's
you
see
know,
what this is.
like I don't need that anymore.
But this is why I don't read Instagram comments typically.
This is why I don't read Reddit.
I'll read a few. I stay off Reddit. You know,
Yeah.
But I mean the themes are the same. It's something
all the
around
same.
slut and whore.
Yep.
Something around being a bitch.
Yep.
Nose ring. And now the new one is I get called trans all the time.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Because that's the new insult. And people are like, yeah, oh, what did it's always my jawline because I have like a very angular face.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh, I look like my dad. But also like one guy said his comment was, are you? Or he said, "Oh, are you trans? You look strong and built." And I'm like, "I'm putting that on a t-shirt. Thank you, sir." I just got back from the gym. I was like,
it's working.
gains. So excited.
Well, I'm here. I'm sitting right across the street, or right across
street right here.
There's a street right across from you, and you were breathtaking.
Oh, thank you.
Don't even.
It doesn't faze me. I'm
No,
just like,
I know,
that's
but like
you
the
problem.
lies. But the second, like, there's lies. I feel like the enemy just uses that, just to tear us down because we are strong women.
Well, and
there's more of us rising up. Let's be honest.
Oh my goodness, a whole wave.
There's it's a whole thing going on right now.
And you know this, that when I had this kind of philosophical moment the other day, like when Jesus talks about that narrow is the path that leads to salvation. And I realized that it's people like you who are facing these conservative, traditional religious systems full on in the face. Mm-hmm. I was like, that's the narrow path. It's not all the people in the church who are condoning racism and protecting pedophiles.
Great.
That's the wide path.
That's the wide path.
It's easy because you get included. You don't get kicked out of the circle.
Yeah.
It's the person who stands up and says, this is what Jesus taught. I'm down with him. And I'm going to fight for what's right that gets removed. I'm like, it just dawned on me the other day. I was like, oh, that's the narrow path.
Do you know my motto for life is peace be still, of course, but it is that God is not the author of confusion. Wherever there is confusion, God is not in it. Think about that for a minute. Think about all the shit you've ever experienced in your life, the trauma, the heartache, all the confusion. Has God been in that?
Nope.
Exactly. And so it's whenever I'm like faced with a problem or faced with like a situation, or I'm like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, why is there confusion? Oh, because God's not in it. There's my answer.
Yep. And something's wrong
and something's
here.
wrong
it's
here.
letting me know. It's
something
my
is
warning.
wrong here. Yeah. Like listen to yourself, because I do feel like there's like an inner calm that comes through you when it's right.
Well, and also you will know the truth, and the
healthy.
truth will make you free.
That's right.
And if you are in a situation that feels smothering, trapping, you can't breathe, you're panicking, you're stressed, you are not in a truthful situation.
No, 100%.
And I will say, especially to young women listening to this, because I have young women who have left Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormon cults, Christian fundamentalism, all these things. Listen to your body as you are deconstructing, because your body will warn you before your brain catches up. As you're unpacking these ideas that your emotions are sinful, that your questions are sinful, which they're not. God has no issues with questions. Men have issues with being questioned.
He offers the questions. He wants your questions.
Faith by default requires doubt.
Absolutely.
If it's certainty, it's not faith anymore.
Agree.
And so, but what I will say to like, what helped me a lot when I was deprogramming purity culture, and I grew up in a very abusive home, was like learning my body. So like, ladies, when you feel like your gut instinct says I shouldn't be in this room, get out of the room.
Yeah, exactly.
When you feel shaky, weak, nervous, get out of the room.
Clammy hands.
Yep.
Headaches. Headaches, when your heart starts beating really insanely fast and you just feel like uneasy. flee from it.
Yep. And just know that like your body's working through something. And even if you're with someone that you're like, oh, I should trust this person's my family, or this person's a church leader, or this person, if those body emotions show up, that's your cue to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's just get out. And also it's often, if you're dealing with shame and guilt around these ideas, it's also a sign that those feelings didn't come from you. They were given to you by someone else. Someone else told you you should feel that way.
Preach.
It's not, if you listen to it, it's not your voice.
It's not.
It's someone else's voice.
It never is your voice. Yeah.
So as this, we're going to kind of go to the big hitter now. To the juicy home run part.
Yes.
So you try to confront the porn that was found.
Yeah.
Let's talk about give me an overview of like the brainwashing that has happened collectively.
I literally have a chapter called Happily Brainwashed.
Oh, I know. That's why I made the note.
I just feel like no matter what is being told or said, if you were in the IBLP, in my opinion, you don't get to question it. So you just believe it. You blindly obey and you just go along with whatever they say. They also have family meetings where they will sit down and talk and say like, hey, like we love this person, but we're not going to tell them any of our business because they won't understand how we guide and love you.
Oh, that sounds like abuse. Don't tell your mom.
Right.
This is a special thing between us.
Right. Just this.
That's abuser language. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was one I never got. Ooh, that like makes my stomach hurt.
Yeah, it was a very like closed system, you know?
Yeah. It has to be because it's the only way it can thrive.
Because that's exactly. And so, I mean, there's just been so much that's happened.
And so, I remember I was living in New York, working at the gym. Like I had really worked to rebuild my life. I was in a good place. And I remember listening to a podcast and hearing about the Ashley Madison scandal. Oh, Lord. So how did that play? Because you're in it. How does that play out when Josh is found as part of that scandal?
Well, so here's the thing is that when I confronted Josh about the sexual allegations and stuff about the sweet cousins, the sisters, that was my moment where I was like, I'm probably never coming back. I'm never coming back.
Give me the lead up to that. Like, tell me, because again, for people that maybe aren't familiar with what happened. So Josh is the oldest son of the 19. Mm-hmm. He's married at this point. This all comes out.
And kids.
So how does the allegations surface to you and to other people that are not immediate family? How did you find out?
There was like there was a news source that came out, a magazine that came out and had a picture. Most of the time, magazines don't catch my eye at the grocery store, like whatever.
Yeah.
This one I walked past and it was the picture of my cousin's home.
Ooh.
And I was like, what? And on it said House of Horrors. And I was like, what is going on? What is going on? And that is when I was not getting any answers. I was getting told lies. I was getting told like half truths. I was getting told like, oh, don't worry about it.
So was this article did you read the article and that was how you first found out that there were allegations?
That is how I first found out that there was allegations. I found out like the rest of the world. My mom and I found out like the rest of the world. Dylan and I found out like the rest of the world. And we were just dumbfounded, completely heartbroken.
Because this had gone on for a long time.
A long time.
A long time.
A long time, yeah.
And so what happens when you confront Josh?
I let him have it as far as like I didn't hold anything back.
Oh, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall.
Oh, yeah.
That was probably years in the making.
Years in the making, for sure. I won't give away what happened.
Yeah, I don't want to tell the whole story.
Let me tell you, it was like the moment I felt like a superhero. And not to like, ooh, look at me. But like I gave it all I had and the strength that I had to go and to confront him. And I was not leaving without an answer. And I got it. And it was terrifying. And I felt like I've never known him at all.
You're just like, this perfect person is a monster.
It was awful. Yeah. Yeah. It was heartbreaking. And I also felt like a superhero.
Well, because when you stand up
for what is right
against something that is so evil, it does make you feel like you could run through a wall.
I seriously felt like that. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I just remember just driving one hand on the wheel and being like, I am never going back to this shit. Like, I'm never going back to this. I don't have to. And in that moment,
and you, the sinful person, or the one that is like, I'm not going to tolerate this.
The one that has been called all these things, all the rebellious, that have a rebellion heart, all these things. God was there. And I just felt this righteous rage come over me that was like, I will not let you do this any longer. If I have anything to do with it, it's stopping now, and it's stopping with me.
Yeah.
And
like, not in this house. I'm not going to excuse it.
Not in this house, not in this generation, not with my child, not with anything. And I was done.
And so I remember after the allegations came out that there was a whole bunch. Obviously, there's always conflicting information in the families. Like, so what happens in the immediate family when this allegation goes public? Are they defending it, covering it up? Are some of the kids?
Oh, I get a phone call.
Ooh.
I get a phone call from my uncle and just says, hey, just want to let you know that there's some stories flying around the media. You know how they do. Very passive. Just want to let you know, you just don't talk to them. Let this story blow over. There's nothing to it. There's no truth to this story.
How can you, in any realm of reality, call yourself a man of God and you defend your son who assaulted your daughters? How?
That is a question that I am still really wrestling with.
That's a level of delusion I can't even imagine.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
So obviously Jim Bob's covering up for it. What happens? What about like the rest of the kids? What about Michelle?
Allegedly. Michelle is sweet as pie. Very just supportive of her husband. Just as an IBLP wife should be. And doesn't question it, doesn't do anything. I wasn't there for those conversations. I would have a lot to say if I would have been there. But in that moment, I chose better for my life.
Nope, none of this.
I was
for
like,
me.
I am done. Like, that's the first scandal was disgusting and awful. This one is like, are you stupid? Like
it quacks like a duck.
In my opinion, I think
it's
it's the dumbest thing. Like, he used my grandma's address. He used a famous DJ's photo. Like, it didn't make sense. It was very just like, I'm just going to do whatever. And it didn't make sense. And so it was very sad. It was very sad for the people involved and for his wife and all of that. But at the same time, I was like, I want nothing to do with any of this anymore. This is not God, and this is not the God that I know. And this doesn't serve me in any kind of way.
Well, and there's no way to come back from that.
No.
Like, there's no way, like, between, like molesting his sisters and then the Ashley Madison stuff. Like, there's no way to come back from that and be like, oh, you're a good person that made a mistake. No, you made a series of intentional choices over the course of years.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just abuse. It wasn't just molesting someone. It wasn't just adultery. It wasn't just lying. It was all of these things repeatedly.
It was wrapped up. Yeah. It wrapped up in a pretty little bow too. I mean, It was very, very hush-hush for a really long time. I will say, for the people that are listening, to the women that are listening, to the young women, that if you ever feel like, oh, they're a good person, even though they've done this, right? Even though they lie to me, even though they pushed me, or I
know he loves me, even though he hits me sometimes. I know he loves me,
even though, no, believe what they show you, because it's only going to get worse. That's how abuse travels. It has to have a place to grow, a place to do something. So they start out small. Abuse starts out very small, and then it just grows uncontrollably.
And
as
again,
we've seen.
For young girls listening, it starts with words, belittling you, controlling you, making a snide remark, joking at your expense consistently. And then it escalates to things like using his body to tower over you, block you from leaving a room.
Right.
And then it escalates to punching a wall, throwing furniture, and then it's you. So if you're a young girl, if you're in your teens, in your 20s, and for young men listening to this too, same for you.
Yes.
If someone is always putting you down, or they are always making you feel stupid, they're always mocking you, that person is an abuser. Use that as your red flag to get out.
They do not love you.
And they do not love you. They are using you for their own benefit.
Right.
And if they ever use their body to physically intimidate you, choke you, touch you, push you, leave the first time.
Run for the hills.
Tell somebody you trust.
Yes.
And do not let that person near you again.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I grew up in a physically abusive home.
Same.
And you're predisposed to fall into abusive relationships because it's
all you've ever known.
It's all you've ever known. And you're so convinced that especially as a woman, women are more susceptible to it because you're so convinced that your whole life purpose is to be in service to a man and that everything is your fault. If you're raped, it's your fault. If you're assaulted, it's your fault. So you end up in these scenarios where when someone harms you, the first thing you ask is, oh my God, what did I do wrong? Oh my God, I shouldn't have said that. Oh my God. And I was looking at it was yesterday actually. I looked at an Instagram reel and it was about abuse and ending up in abusive relationships and kind of some of those red flags. And there was a bunch of comments from women who were talking about how it affected them as adults. And one woman said, she's like, it wasn't that I couldn't communicate. I was just so afraid of upsetting people that I wouldn't speak. And then a couple comments down in reply to that, there's a man who says, well, good, you'd make a great wife. Quiet and submissive. It's abuse.
That's why they get away with it.
I will push back on any conservative talking bro who really pushes this submissive wife thing because it's just abuse. It's just abuse. Yeah. If you are opposed to equality and parity in a marriage, then you want an abusive marriage. Pass.
Boom.
No thanks.
No.
So this blows up. You drive off. I'm done. What's happened since then? Because the emotional toll of having to cut this huge piece of your life just out.
Yeah.
And then there's there's the hurdle with your faith too of like,
right.
This whole family is supposed to be so holy, so righteous, so in service of the God that I serve.
Right.
And this is what they're doing. So like, what does that journey after that drive out look like?
Oh, I mean, I have daily mental funerals all the time.
That is a great term. I'm stealing that.
Okay, you can.
Yeah. Okay.
But I do. I mean, even on Instagram, everyone looks so happy. Everyone has seemed healed. They're wearing jeans now. They're cutting their hair. They're doing all these things. And I'm so proud of the girls and hopefully the guys are doing great too. But like, I was ridiculed and judged for wearing jeans that now they find completely fine.
Yeah.
And it's just like, where's the logic here? Where's the balance? Why do the rules have to exist in the first place, And so I do love the fact that they are growing into their own and becoming these hopefully amazing women and moms and wives that can actually speak and talk back and like have opinions and form opinions. But I have to daily remind myself that abuse is also something that is not mentioned. And I don't want to go back there, right? Yeah. I want the best for them. Sure, I can love them from afar, but there's boundaries. And there's boundaries on purpose.
And where does the family stand with Josh?
I have no idea. I think half of them are divided. I think a lot of them ride the fence. I don't think a lot of them want to talk about it. I think a lot of them are just like, oh, well, that's just our past and that's not my future. And they don't really go there.
Yeah.
They just toe the line.
Which is unfortunate because what I've learned in my life is that you either face the darkness or at some point it turns around and faces you.
I 100% agree with that.
And it's much harder to do the latter.
I just don't really respect someone that isn't going to just stand up for what is right. I don't have that.
So
it's exhausting. It's exhausting. I don't have the energy for it anymore. I say in the book that it's almost like the Truman Show. I don't know if you ever watched that movie where Truman is great. His life is wonderful and going, happy-go-lucky. And then all of a sudden he realizes his entire existence has been a lie and he hits the wall. Mm-hmm. He hits a wall. I hit that wall. And now I'm just like, what does life look like without all of these people in my life that were supposed to be there? And it's just a really, really crazy situation, and really eye-opening to realize that like, if people lie to you, people cheat on you, if people hurt you in any kind of way, disrespect you, belittle you, speak in a condescending tone, all of that, that's not love. And that could be family, relationships, a coworker, a boss. It could be your neighbor. It can be literally anyone. And I just don't have time for that.
Same. Life is too short.
I don't have time for it.
Life is way too short. One of the things that like, again, during deconstruction and all this healing, I finally got to a place where fine wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
And so one of my decision-making cues for me is it's either a fuck yes or a fuck no, because my life is too short. My life is too short. And I don't want to, especially for major decisions, like where I live, who I marry, what I'm, where I'm traveling. I don't want to say fine. oh, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Those areas, those big life-altering areas,
Mm-hmm.
it's either got to be an absolutely yes or an absolutely no.
Mm-hmm.
And where do you feel like, what have you noticed grow and change about you since driving away that day?
Oh my gosh, there is so much peace. I'm telling you, I'm hitting the mic again. Sorry. I there is so much peace. I am a whole different person than I was back then. I smiled on cue. I laughed. I did all the things, but I was a broken person.
Yeah.
And
Hurting,
now,
too.
yeah, hurting that people don't. I mean, they don't even know half the stuff that's in this book. But now I can literally say I wake up with a smile on my face, and I know that my child is safe. I am safe. There's no yelling in the home. There's no like insane expectations. My child can just live freely and have this beautiful childhood. I don't have to worry about predators. There's all of these things that I am so proud of myself for doing the hard work to change a generation for him. You know, not only just his, but when he has kids someday, maybe, you know, if he has a wife someday, how is he going to treat his wife? It's all about, it's like a ripple effect.
It is.
And
breaking generational trauma is one of the hardest things in the world, but so important.
It is.
Because these cycles continue to repeat because people will not face them.
Mm-hmm.
And then we pass it on to our kids.
It's all hidden. It's all hidden until you're like, oh, why'd I do that? Oh, because someone did that to you. Yep. And it continues and continues. And we see that broken families. That's why you see so much hurt and so much pain
Sins
in this
of the
world.
Father.
Exactly.
And, you know, this is like deep emotional trauma. This is like really intimate stories for you. This is something that you clearly sat with yourself and I'm going to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Yeah.
What are your hopes for this book for the people that read it? What are some things that you hope are a ripple effect from the Holy Disruptor?
I love this question. I want to talk to every broken person who feels like they're not enough, who feels like they have nothing to offer this world, who feels so broken from the choices that they've made or the things that's happened to them, and let them know that you are worthy of love and that you can stop the abuse from happening. You can educate yourself. You can learn what gaslighting is and love bombing and all of these names and all these just descriptions of what everything is, and really decipher what is love and what isn't, and what is healthy love.
Yeah.
And from there, like I said, it's a ripple effect. You begin to invite peace into your life. And so for me, if I don't have peace about anything, kind of like your fuck no or fuck yes kind of thing. Mine is like, if there's peace, if I have peace in my heart about a situation, then I feel like it's a yes. But if I don't, if I'm jittery, if I don't sleep at night, if I just always have it in my mind thinking, and I've got all these like a million ideas of what could happen wrong and all of that, I don't feel like that's the path I need. Yeah. And so I hope that more people become holy disruptors and they break toxic cycles and patterns that are harming them, because that's not love. It's just not love. And that is like the whole point of the entire book, is just, here's my story. Here's the truth. I'm going to connect the dots for you on why I left the show. There's many of them. There's many reasons why. There's a lot of dots. But they're all for a good reason. And it can help just so many people.
And how do you see the role? Because holy disruptors, again, there's an entire generation of women specifically who are coming out of these religious sects. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've read the Well-Trained Wife by Tia Leving.
Have.
Oh, so good.
So good.
But, women like Tia and coming out and coming forward, how do you see the role of the holy disruptor in the climate that we're in right now? Like culturally, politically, we're seeing this rise in Christian nationalism, Christian fundamentalism. We are seeing it. How do you see the role of these disruptors in this environment right now?
I think they're everywhere. I think they're finding their voice. They're not silenced, or they have been silenced and they're not going to be anymore. And they're not letting fear control them. And I think people are breaking free. I really do. I think the chains are being just completely just tossed to the side, and we're not afraid to stand up. And we're realizing that we're not alone. We are not alone.
That was the most shocking thing about my platform doing what it did, because this is all pretty new. It started in February.
Yes, that's what I was told.
And I did not realize, I obviously knew there was a lot of people like me who had been in similar, I didn't realize how many.
Yeah, I still don't know. I can't wait to find out from people that have read this book and have watched this podcast and reach out to me. And I want to be relatable. Please reach out. I would love that. Message me all the things. But I don't want to feel alone, you know, and I did for a really long time. And so I am very curious to see how many people will say, I've been there, I've done it, help me through it. I'm here, you know, because we all have to like hold hands and band together and just be like, we are not going to be afraid.
We're not doing this.
We are not doing this.
Today.
We are not doing it. We're not doing it today. We're not doing it tomorrow. We're done for the rest of our lives.
And I think stories like yours in particular, and one of the things, because I get a lot of questions online about, you know, how are you staying hopeful with everything that's happening? And one of the things with stories like yours, like mine, but also Christian nationalism being on display like it is right now, we're seeing it for what it is. We are watching Christian nationalists protect abusers. We are watching this discrepancy between how women are treated and men are treated, and it is on full display. There's no pretense anymore. And
it's not hiding.
There's no hiding.
There's no hiding it.
It is there, and I think as bad as things feel sometimes, there's so much benefit to we finally get to tear it down because we finally get to see it for what it is. The lies are gone, the facade is gone, and I have a lot of like really amazing, like true Christians who follow my platform, and a lot of amazing atheists and everybody in between. But especially the believers get to say, that is not Christ.
Right.
I will not let you hijack this religion for your lust for power and abuse. And I think that we finally get to dismantle that movement from the top down. And I think that your experience is like an amazing reflection of that.
Thank you.
What happens after the book? Like, what are some other goals you have? Well, like what?
I don't know. This book was very heavy.
Yeah.
This book
was very heavy. It's hard. I was reading some of it. I was like, oh my goodness.
Crying. I cried a lot. I did the audiobook. Yeah. Yeah. I take the listeners on a ride on that. I hold nothing back. You know, transparency is like everything to me. It has to be. And so, that was just a whole other journey. But because of this book was just so heavy, I want to do something maybe lighter. But I also don't want to stop talking about being a holy disruptor, because so many people, so many women especially, need to hear the truth. Yeah. And so I don't know. You're a podcaster and I love it. And I don't know, maybe I see myself going down this same road.
It's amazing.
I don't
it's
know.
Such a good way
I don't know what's
people.
Gonna happen.
Yeah. You got it though.
Thank you.
But I think it's going to be, I'm excited for.
Maybe a children's book. I feel like a children's book would be cool.
How cool would that be to do a children's book, like to really, again, disrupt those, those harmful things that get taught to kids about you're sinful and you're broken and your questions are evil. Like, what if kids understood that they're not perfect and that that's okay? And that God's okay with their questions.
Yeah, I love that.
What a concept.
Imagine that. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's opening doors and I'm just like going through them and I'm just like, okay, do I have peace about it? And then I'm like, okay, I do. I feel like he's going before me.
And my last question is actually related to this. Like, how has your faith changed based on coming from this movement, being involved in this, the scandals, into where you are now? How has that changed and like made your faith evolve?
It has grown so much. I will literally say this. I used to be like, yeah, I'm a Christian, whatever. I mean, I definitely like believed in him and that kind of thing. But it wasn't until all of this started happening that I was like, I need him daily. No matter what it is, but especially with all the scandals going on. I mean, I listened to like praise and worship music for hours because I was just bawling my eyes out.
I have to reset my nervous system.
Yes, my nervous system was destroyed, let me tell you. And the last scandal did me in for years. It did me in. Because not only did that happen to children that I don't even know, that I want to hug and love and be like Cruella de Vil and have like 100 puppies, 100 kids. I want to protect them all. I want to protect every single child. But at the same time, I don't even know what I was saying. What was I saying?
Like protecting kids, hugging the kids, some of them you didn't know.
Yeah, I lost it. I had something really good there. Hey, thank you. I'm so glad he's here.
You hear that deep voice? It's the voice of God. That's
I
secret.
love that. Yes, he's there, my guardian angel. But it really did. It controlled like just what music I listened to, how I protected my child even more. I was more just, I don't know. I was just more sensitive to the things of this world and just how broken it is and how many systems are broken and are meant to destroy women.
And are so not like Christ.
And you know, the enemy hates women. You know, they hate us. He hates us.
Yeah.
And so just to shine a light in the darkness is really what I'm about. And I'm going to keep on doing.
Every day. So also, before we wrap up, where can everyone find you? Where can they find your website, social media that you're on, whatever you're working on? Where can they follow you?
Yes. Okay. So my Instagram is at Amy Rochelle King. And I just share like real life and real stories and my healing journey and how the heck I'm, working through all of this. What's going on? Yes. And then TikTok is Amy R. King. I've got amyduggarking.com is the website, and you can just find more about that. You can contact me. Like I keep saying, if you're struggling, if you're hurting, if you feel like you're all alone, I'm here. You are here. You are not alone.
No, and there's so many of us.
Yeah.
So many.
So many. So I love being a part of that and just joining together.
And thank you for
stronger
being here
together
today. Man, I knew this was going to be a great conversation. I knew it. And
I
it sure
did too.
was.
I
was
too.
Like so amped for it. And
yes.
It's so great. And so everybody, her book came out when this is released, her book came out yesterday, and it's called Holy Disruptor. And I would highly recommend reading it, especially for those of you that are deconstructing, you're in your deconstruction journey. And for those of you who are wrestling with what true faith means, I think that was one of the things that came through so much for me.
Thank you.
Was true faith versus this legalism versus systems that harm people. Mm-hmm. Like the basis of the faith that we were taught is love. And if it does not originate from that point, if it does not uplift and it does not edify, it's not love. So I would highly recommend her book. I'm very excited to see like what happens when it comes out. And I'm so excited for feedback. Well, I think we should do an Instagram live too. I think we should do some of that.
So you read most of it. Did your jaw drop?
Oh yeah. There were some things. And like, cause there were things, cause I never watched the show.
Okay.
So I remember hearing the premise. I think I heard of the show in 2011, but there were levels to this. So I've always been a closeted feminist when I was younger. And I knew that the IBLP was part of it. And I was like, fuck that. I do not want to hear another sermon on submission. Mm-hmm. I was immediately out. Also, pregnancy is in my top 3 fears. So the idea of 19 children just kind of made me nauseous. So I would rather swim in open water with sharks with a cut foot than be pregnant. Like that's the level I'm rocking right now.
Yeah.
So I watched a couple episodes and it was so triggering from my childhood. Mm-hmm. And like, I'm looking at these.
I'm so sorry.
No, I'm looking at these kids and like, especially the littles. And I was like, oh, I know where this goes. And I was like, I'm just not interested. And then when the scandal was broken, I'm like, and there it is.
There it is.
And right after I left Liberty was the Jerry Falwell pool boy scandal. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and there it is. And then I was at church in Hillsong in New York with Carl Lentz. And there it is. I was just like, I'm out. So not having context for a lot of the story, except for the premise, I was reading your book and one feels horrifically familiar. Because it's like, it's a rebrand of the same abusive system that is in these fundamentalist communities. But also some of it was way more shocking than I realized. Like, and there was a couple moments I had to like, I'm just going to.
Just take a minute. Take a minute. Yeah.
And it also like, it's so enraging, even how they would speak to and demean you for just existing.
For existing.
Yeah. And it was like walking down memory lane and also really, really angering. Like I had moments where it's just, and I'm surprised, but not surprised.
Yeah. Well, keep on reading.
I know. I've got like 3 chapters left. I think. Yeah. 15.
I think you're going to love the ending.
Yes. I'm just like, cannot wait because I got an advanced copy. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being willing to
this so much.
Tell the story and be brave and be vulnerable because that's really what we need. If I can support you in any way, please always let me know. And for everyone listening, really consider being a holy disruptor, whatever that means. Because again, I have a bunch of atheists that follow me too. You're same boat for you.
Same.
And most of you are already
disruption can happen anywhere that is toxic. It doesn't have to be.
And they often are the best at it because they're like, this is objectively wrong.
Yes.
Shush, I'm not allowing it.
Yep.
So that's my encouragement, is that remember that these systems can be broken, they can be escaped, and they can be healed. And I'm very excited to hear also what my listeners think of the book as they read it. And I will see you next week on Flipping Tables. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.